ฮัลโหลครับสวัสดีครับ
ฮัลโหลครับสวัสดีครับสวัสดีครับ
โอเคเดี๋ยวพี่จะให้เราฟังก่อนได้ไหมได้ป่ะ
ได้ครับ
โอเคนะงั้นไปฟังIELTS ยาวๆก่อนอะไรกันนะครับไม่มีอะไรฟังก่อนนิดหน่อย one two three
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, see.
The test is in 4 parts, part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4. Now look at part 1.
Part 1.
You are going to hear a conversation about renting an apartment. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 6. Now listen to the tape and answer questions 1 to 6.
How can I help you, sir?
Hi, I'm interested in renting an apartment in your building. Can you show me around inside?
Sure, my pleasure. Do you know what kind of apartment you're looking for?
I'm thinking of something for my best friend and I. The apartment doesn't have to be too big, just something comfortable for the two of us. I'm looking for a kitchen, 2 bedrooms, and a bathroom. Just something simple.
Okay, well, let me show you what we have to offer. We divide our apartments into 3 categories. There are standard apartments, upgraded standard apartments, and luxury apartments. Please follow me. This apartment just went up for rent yesterday. The old tenants moved into a larger one. This apartment is what I call the standard apartment. It's small, but has everything you need. The kitchen comes with a refrigerator, an oven, and a stove. There is 1 bathroom with a shower, but no bathtub. The rooms are a good size, and both have their own closets. The living room has enough space for a couch. We will provide a television for you. These apartments are very popular with students because they're affordable and practical. Right now, we are renting these out for only $1,000 a month.
I think this is a little bit on the small side. There's no space for a dining table or even for an extra desk. We will both need room to study. If there are guests over, we hope to be able to have a dining table big enough for at least 4 people. Do you have anything slightly larger? Maybe just an apartment with a bigger living room?
Well, let's take a look. Right now, we also have an opening for a luxury apartment. This apartment is larger. It has 3 bedrooms, and all 3 are larger than the last one. And there are 2 bathrooms, and all have bathtubs. The kitchen is also larger, and come with an additional dishwasher and freezer. The living space has plenty of space for a dining room.
How much is the rent on these apartments?
These are more expensive, usually in the $2,500 range. Don't forget that there is an additional bedroom, so you could find another roommate to lower the cost.
I think that's a little bit on the expensive side. We don't really have the time to find another roommate, so it's probably better to stick with the 2-bedroom places. Is there anything between these 2?
Come with me. I can show you this apartment right now. But there are people living in it. There are no more of these kinds of apartments available at this moment. But if you decide that you like it, I can put you on the waiting list. And as soon as we have openings, you will be contacted.
Sure, let's take a look.
This is the upgraded standard apartment. As you can see, it's larger than the other 2-bedroom apartment. There are 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, one in each room. The living room comes with a television, but no furniture. The kitchen is around the same size as the other smaller apartment. The basic difference is the additional bathroom and larger living room. These rent for around $1,400.
Now look at questions 7 to 10. Now listen to the tape and answer questions 7 to 10.
Seems like a good deal. Do you know when an apartment like this will be available?
That's hard to say. I know these people who live here right now should be graduating soon, so they might be moving out.
Well, I guess I'll put my name on the waiting list. Hopefully there'll be an opening as soon as possible.
That sounds like a good plan. I will notify you as soon as we have vacancies. You will have to leave us some information and a student identification number.
Sure, no problem. My full name is Robert Jack Browning.
Could I have your age, please?
I'm 38.
Your major?
I'm studying biology.
How about naming some of your hobbies?
Fishing, golf, watching movies, and spending time with my family.
Sounds like a good life. What is the price range of the apartment you are looking for?
Somewhere between $1,000 to $1,500.
Your student identification number, please.
QS 45890.
Could you repeat that?
QS 45890.
Lastly, could you leave us a phone number?
Okay, it's area code 236 580 2287.
Thank you very much. I will give you a call as soon as possible.
That is the end of part 1.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 2.
Part 2.
You are going to hear the director of the Leadership Council give his welcome address at a convention.
First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now, listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? Please find your seats. Snacks will be available all day long. Thank you. Allow me to first introduce myself. I am Joe Steinke, Director of the Leadership Council. On behalf of the Organizing Committee for the 8th Annual Leadership Conference, I welcome you all to San Dimas, California, for a special session on postmodern solutions. We have people attending from as far away as Toronto, New York, and even the Bahamas. Frankly, I wish we had gone to you there. But we're very glad you're all here. Let me say further that this will be our largest conference yet. Registrations have far surpassed our expectations. For the first 3 days, we will be hosting more than 325 participants for lectures and workshops. Another 100 will be joining us for our final 2 days and culminating session on Friday evening. We also have a larger selection of seminars than ever, a total of 32. Because we know that you all will want to attend a few special sessions, we will repeat key seminars each day. So there will actually be 38 sessions. I'm sure you will all be pleased with the content and the quality of speakers.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 16 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
Now, for those who have opted not to take part in our bag lunches, there are a number of places nearby that we can recommend. We are located here in the convention center just across the street from the Harford Shopping Mall, and the place we most recommend is Vital's, which is just west across Queen Street on the opposite corner. Please be careful crossing both streets, however, as we don't want to lose any participants. If you're not up to Vital's, you can also get some Italian food at the Olive Garden, which is further down Queen Street and east on Danning Avenue, across from the police station. They have a great minestrone soup and excellent breadsticks, all you can eat. On the other hand, if you want some good old American food, you can head to Fuddruckers for some big hamburgers or to the Cattle Company for some fat, juicy steak. Fuddruckers is next to the Olive Garden, but the Cattle Company is back closer to us in the opposite direction of Vital's. Just go east out of the convention center across King Street. It's on the same side as the convention center, so you just have one street to cross. Enjoy. But also, please make sure you are back for the afternoon sessions. These will always start at 1:30 p.m. That will give you an hour and a half for lunch each day. Sessions will be over each day at 5:30. Now, regarding the schedules we've printed out, there have been a couple of last-minute changes. The session titled New Leadership Strategies will no longer be held in Seminar Room 1, but in the main ballroom. This session has garnered much praise and is highly recommended to all, hence the change to a larger room. Another session has been canceled. That session was titled Leading by Serving, and it was scheduled for Daniel's room. The speaker for that session, Dr. Mark Green, had to return home for some urgent health situation. We wish the best to Dr. Green and that all is fine with his family. Finally, the session titled Using the Arts and Media has been changed to the second lounge room, Lounge 2. Please show up promptly for sessions and sit towards the front of each room so that all seats can be utilized. Also, turn off all pagers, beepers, and cell phones. Drinks and snacks will be provided outside each room, but please be careful at your tables. Enjoy the conference.
That is the end of part 2.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 3.
Part 3.
You will hear part of a radio program about do-it-yourself house painting.
First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 24. Now, listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 24.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our weekly series on home improvements. Today's program is about do-it-yourself house painting. There's never been a better time for people who like to do their own interior house painting. Although people still lead very busy lives, thanks to the availability of various new DIY materials, you can now decorate your home in a more efficient and a more environmentally friendly way. In 2009 alone, approximately 53 million litres of the paint that was sold in the UK were left untouched. That's enough to fill 21 Olympic-sized swimming pools. It's easy to overestimate how much paint you'll need to decorate your room if you use guesswork. And if you know exactly how much paint is needed, you avoid unnecessary waste. There are automatic paint calculators available now. Most of the major paint manufacturers provide them. Look on their websites or just Google paint calculator and see what comes up. Then simply measure the circumference and height of the room in meters, enter this into the calculator along with the type of surface you're painting, and it will tell you how many litres of paint you'll need. But if you do end up with leftover paint, you can donate it to an organisation like Community Repaint. They will take the paint from you and redistribute it to local charities and voluntary organisations, so it goes to a good home. You can find more information about Community Repaint on communityrepaint, all one word, .org.uk.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 25 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 25 to 30.
Another way of avoiding paint wastage is to check you're completely happy with your colour choice before starting to paint. For example, you can get a small sample of the colour you're thinking of using, then paint a board and move it around the room so you can see how it looks against your furnishings and in different lights. Also, it's always better to buy high-quality paints because you get what you pay for. If you buy cheap paint, you might need to apply 2 or 3 coats to achieve the same coverage that you'd get from 1 coat of a good quality paint. You could also spend a week on a job that could have been done in a day or 2. And consider the environment. Most paint manufacturers now sell water-based paints that don't contain harmful chemicals or give off harmful odours, so get one of these. You can also buy paint that's packaged in recyclable containers. There's a lot more choice than there used to be. You can only do a good job, which will last, if you prepare the surfaces thoroughly before painting. In fact, in many ways, if you want to do a professional-looking job, this is more important than the painting itself. If there are any cracks or patches of loose plaster, painting over them won't solve the problem. Take the plaster out and fill the holes, allowing enough time for the new plaster to dry. And you won't get a smooth finish if the walls are dusty or greasy. So washing with water isn't enough. Use a solution of decorator's soap and rinse well with warm water afterwards. When you're ready to paint, We suggest you use a medium pile roller for walls and ceilings. A lot of people tend to use short pile rollers, but these give a patchy finish, and that wastes paint and time. Similarly, long pile rollers can create a thick textured effect, which looks messy. The same goes for brushes. The stronger the bristles, the easier they are to wash and reuse. And as you've chosen a water-based paint, clean your brushes with cold water because it's more energy efficient that way. As you're decorating, keep transferring small amounts of paint into a tray and keep topping it up when you need to. This reduces the chance of it being contaminated by dust and pieces of dirt. And finally, water-based paint doesn't have a lingering smell, so that's not an issue anymore. But it's airflow rather than heat that helps the paint dry quicker. So, to help finish the job in the quickest time, leave your doors and windows open. The faster the paint is dry and the job finished, the quicker you can start enjoying your room. In tomorrow's program, I'll be giving some advice on.
That is the end of section 2.
That is the end of part 3.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 4.
Part 4. You'll hear a teacher talking about several British art galleries. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 33. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 33.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the first class of V100 Art and History. The objectives of the course, as you will have seen if you've taken a look at the syllabus, include familiarizing yourselves with the vocabulary and language of art, learning about the basic elements of art and design, and finally, discussing historical periods as they pertain to art. The course will also give you the opportunity to visit some of the many galleries and museums that Britain has to offer. So, having said that, I'd like to spend the rest of today's class talking about 4 of the more important galleries that we will be visiting in the coming year. As most of you already know, or at least I hope most of you know, there are 4 Tate galleries in all. To begin, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Tate Modern. Tate Modern is located in a very busy part of London called the South Bank. It's close to 2 world-renowned tourist attractions, St. Paul's Cathedral and Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. Now, interestingly enough, Tate Modern is housed in what was a power station built in several stages between 1947 and 1963. It was closed down in 1981 and reopened as a gallery in the year 2000. Tate Modern consists of 5 levels, with the Tate collection being shown on the 3rd and 5th levels. On level 2, the works of contemporary artists are exhibited, while level 4 is used for holding large temporary exhibitions. Since this museum opened, it has become a popular spot for both Londoners and tourists alike. And believe it or not, it doesn't cost anything to get in to see the collection displays.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 34 to 40. Now listen and answer questions 34 to 40.
Now, the second gallery I'd like to talk about is Tate St. Ives, which is in Cornwall. It was built on the site of a gasworks, and it overlooks Porthmeor Beach. Tate St. Ives is housed in a 3-story building that was designed by the architects Evans and Shalliff. It was established in 1993, 7 years before Tate Modern was opened, and the gallery exhibits the works of modern British artists, including members of the St. Ives School, a group of artists living and working in the area from the 30s onwards. In later lectures, we'll be looking at the work of some of the artists who belong to that group and the ways in which they influenced each other. Okay, am I going too fast for any of you? No? Good. Next, I want to talk about Tate Britain, which is a gorgeous gallery situated right in the heart of Westminster. Tate Britain was the first of the 4 Tate galleries to open, and it was established in 1897. It was built on the site of an old prison, and when it first opened its doors, it was called the National Gallery of British Art. Later, it became known as the Tate Gallery, after the man who founded it, Sir Henry Tate. During its lifetime, Tate Britain has been damaged twice, once by floodwaters from the River Thames, and once by bombings during World War II. This gallery has an interesting range of exhibitions of historic and modern art from 1500 up to the present day. Now, the last gallery I'd like to tell you about is called Tate Liverpool. It's not hard to figure out where this gallery is located, is it? It was opened in 1988 to exhibit displays from the Tate collection, and it also has a program of temporary exhibitions. Tate Liverpool is housed in what was once a warehouse, and for some years, it was one of the biggest galleries of modern and contemporary art in the UK. Well, that's a brief overview of just a few of the galleries we'll be visiting. I'd like now to look in a little more detail at what you can expect to see in each of these galleries, starting with Tate Britain.
That is the end of part 4.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I failed.
เมื่อกี้เสียงเบามากครับผมแทบไม่ได้ยินเลยครับ
โอเคฟังเสียงมาหรือยัง
โอเคมาเสียงมาแล้วครับ
โอเค เมื่อกี้ไม่ได้เสียบหูฟังนะครับ515480เป็นไงบ้างได้ไหม30ขึ้นนะครับ35ยังอาจจะว่าง่ายไปไหมง่ายเนาะถือว่าง่ายถูกไหม
ก็โอเคครับเพราะว่าเออเขาเรียกว่าอะไรครับมันสับมันเดาไม่ยากขนาดนั้นเลยครับตัวเลนส์คำศัพท์อะ
ใช่ก็เดี๋ยวไอส่งไอ้นี้ให้อยู่แล้วกันนะครับเผื่อว่าอยู่จะไปทำต่อนะเพราะฉะนั้นลองเช็คคำตอบซิได้กี่ข้อได้ไหมลองเช็คดูนะครับ everything is perfect ใช่ไหม
ฮัลโหลครับ
ว่าไงบ้างเป็นไงได้กี่คะแนน
อันนี้ผมเข้าอีกเครื่องครับ
โอเค that's it ตามนั้นไม่เป็นไรนะครับเดี๋ยวเราไปลองไล่เช็คดูนะครับก็คือ cutting point อยู่ที่ประมาณ33 let's say นะครับจริงๆแล้วตัว test ตัวนี้เนี่ยไม่ชัดเท่ากับwhat is that ก็คือเป็นอะไรนะของ Cambridge ใช่ไหมแต่ก็ตามนั้นเมื่อวานถึงไหนแล้วพร้อมหรือยัง
แต่ว่า
Oh my god
แต่หัวข้อเมื่อวานแบบโอ้โหบางหัวข้อยากจริงครับ
ยากเพราะว่ามันเป็นของ SAT ครับก็ให้อยู่ดูเผื่อว่าอยู่จะไปนี่จะได้ SAT อย่างนี้ไม่แน่ใจว่าอยู่โดนโควิดเนาะระบบการคัดการ whatever มันก็จะมีการเปลี่ยนนะครับไม่แน่ใจว่ายังต้องสอบ SAT หรือเปล่านะครับแต่ว่าถ้าเป็น Essay ก็ทรงนี้เลยโอเคไหมยากไหมถือว่ายากไหมก็ยากอยู่นะก็ไม่ได้ง่ายนะฮะAll right, so shall we move to for today's discussion, right? I'm going to let you discuss for the first one. So, okay. So question number 9, right? So this one, all girls schools have been gaining popularity in recent years because of their belief that girls learn better than they are when they are not competing with or intimidated by boys. So the same, genders there, right? Who's statistically get more attention in the classroom. All right, so do you think single-sex schools are a good idea? Why or why not? Use specific reasons and examples to support your position here. Okay? That's it. ขี้เกียจทำรีพอร์ตให้มสวมาสอน10 คอร์สโอ้ไม่ไหวละ
โอ้ก็อันนี้โอ้โหอันนี้ยาก
เดี๋ยวเพราะว่า
Actually, do you think the same-sex schools is better than you know unisex? Let's say like when it comes to talk about unisex school, right? So it is far better than single-sex school. I'm going to say that you have to convince that if you state a single-sex school, especially for girls that they have to study together, or even boys that they gonna study together, is there any area that you can convince other people to believe that it is going to be great comparing to unisex here? Do you understand that?
ก็คือเปรียบเทียบ
Okay.
ทั้งสองอย่างใช่ไหมครับ
คือหมายถึงว่าแบบอันนี้พอเราพูดถึง unisex กับ single sex เราจะเวทไปทาง unisex far better than same sex ถูกไหมครับทีนี้อยู่ต้อง convince ให้คนอื่นเชื่อว่าเหตุผลอะไรที่ same sex เนี่ยมันดีกว่างงปะthat's it. This is very important just because when it comes to write convincing essays, you need to state your position here. And the reason why is much more important to convince other people believe in your opinion here. Yep.
In my understandings and in my belief, this is what I believe is that I don't think that single sex schools are a good idea. Like, I think I strongly recommend to study in the unisex schools, like your boys and girls who can study together in the same classrooms. Like there are lots of reasons to clarify this, but the first reason is that unisex schools can allow teenagers, or it can allow the students to interact with the opposite sex better, because like in the reality, when they graduate from schools, they are required to go to work, and also the skills that are required like is a skill of communication, or the skill of socializing with strangers or with colleagues that you haven't known before. Because and also like the most important thing is that it's not like you go to the workplace, or when you are a newcomer in some places, you're not familiar with that. And if you have this kind of skill to familiarize yourself with the surroundings or the environments of people around that, I think that's going to be better. So that's the first reason why. So that's the first reason that can explain that it helps and it encourages people and students to be able to socialize with the opposite sex. Another reason is that I think it might be a possible thing to say is that like it might support or promote the sexual equality, like because like if we compare between single-sex schools and unisex schools, in most of single-sex schools there are only one there is only a single sex of people. Like for example in Thailand, like for some schools that there are only boys who can study in that particular school. What will happen is that they might have a belief, or they might have a misconception that they and like the misconception about the sexual equality, that that boys are better than girls when it comes to the competition, or like I mean the competition of education, or like receiving a scholarship or something like that. But if they study together, I think this problem might not happen.
Are you okay? All right. I would say that to those schools who set or provide such a single set, in order to make sure that the student can learn better, it's kind of like an interesting aspect that I can share to you for some instruction that is related to cultural diversities. I can say that for some example that you can see like let's say like to those students who have studied with religious instruction that is related to religious mainstream, I would say that to those people who are consider themselves as strict Muslims, so they're gonna divide in each, sects have to learn separately. And I would say that, for example, in the Malaysia or Indonesia, there are kind of like lots of Muslim society that is really strict to those kind of like, provide such effective instruction, just only single sex here. And I can say that it is better to make sure that this kind of like, just because the obligation or even a limitation of, religious belief, things like that. So, and I would say that it can be instructed through this kind of just only single sex, and they can learn better just because they don't have any, factors contributing that they gonna have something that they might lose their concentration to what they study here. I can say like for some context, it is possible to provide such a only single sector study in that classroom. And I would say that in terms of academic performance here, it depends on the way that they can learn and how high quality it is for instructional design too. To me, I would say that for a part of interacting with different sects, it might be a key role to foster student learning for a better and they can compete with kind of like different aspect of different sects. For example, like we can see according to the research that males or boys can learn better in terms of calculation or mathematics thinking skill, right? Better than girls in that school. So this is the reason that the high competition, which is really affect to this kind of unisex can be played into the instructional design here. But to me, I think that if just only that's the same sex, I think it is possible to make it happen in a prosperous way. I mean, successful way. For example, like girls can learn better just because they can harmonize themselves in that particular context, and they can learn better just because they feel safe when they study something in particular, I can say. Anyway, in the real world of competition or high competition here, we can see like both genders are quite competitive, right? And then we can if both genders can learn together, it might be an effective way in a part of my perspective. But here, it's all about like we just focus on the same sex can do better for their academic performance here. So maybe just only particular context, I can say. Yeah, that's it. ปวดหัวไหม รู้สึกว่าพูดไปพูดมาแล้วแบบเบลอนะครับ moving to next questions here. All right, so we all have favorite activities that we enjoy. You can say about your gym here and write an essay convincing readers to try the activity that you enjoy the most. Okay, so if I am listener, okay, so I'm quite, let's say like I'm quite knowledgeable person, and I have something in common that you can convince me to believe what you're really interested in that gym, and try to convince me that what is the important aspect that I have to attain or be a part of the gym that you really keen on or interested in. Is okay? เปิดฟลอร์ให้เราเลยครับ พูด gym ให้เลยนะฮะ okay 1 2 3 go
So I'm gonna talk about what I'm interested in, like which is about the gym, or which is about the fitness, or like fitness education. Like there are lots and lots of knowledge about gaining more muscles or losing weight that I'm gonna discuss today and make a discussion. So the first thing is that my favorite. So as we know, that's my favorite activity that I really enjoy, and this is for my recreation as well. I think this is the relaxing activity that I like the most, which is going to the gym and lifting weights. Like, also, this is my passion that I really I am really addicted to. First thing is that when you start, first thing is that I see lots and lots of people on social media, or like some friends or some of my relatives. They are more likely to be interested in going to the gym, like on purposes of changing their physique, changing their body shape, or someone just wants to be to get healthier because they just want to escape from any illnesses such as hypertension, heart attack, or like the the most dangerous. I think that the most common illnesses for people in Thailand or in European countries is obesity. Yeah, this is the illnesses. This is the illness that makes people suffer a lot, like caused by eating lots and lots of junk food or trans fats, or lots of sugary products. Yeah, something like that. So going to the gym will be the option. I think going to the gym is the easiest option for people to try to just escape from that illness, and just to save yourself, uh just save your life, save your save yeah, because life is the most valuable thing that you need to um that you need to pay attention to. um First thing is that when is that in order to convince people to go to the gym, I'm going to talk about the benefits of it. Like there are lots and lots of advantages of lifting weights, so gaining more muscles. First thing is that, like, I see lots of most of people, when they want to lose weight or when they want to get in shape, they have a misconception in fitness, or they have heard from somewhere, like for 10 or 20 years, for decades, and this is still what people misunderstand. Like, for time to time, they still think, and they still instill this kind of mindsets that if they want to get in shape, or if they want to get healthier, like if they want to lose weight, they lose fat, they will think that the best way to lose weight is that they need to go to the park and just run for jogging, or like something like that, or they will do a cardio for a long time, and yeah, that's also effective, but that's not the most effective solution to lose weight. And in the long term affects your body so much. On the other hand, there is another solution that is the best one, and this is the most effective one that most of experts or most of scientists that have the knowledge, or someone who is knowledgeable about hitting a gym, or about lifting weights, or even the scientific research has indicated that if you that lifting weights and lifting weights and doing cardio afterwards will help you will improve the performance of your body, and also it doesn't only it doesn't only grow your muscle, or it doesn't only stimulate your muscle growth, but it also also allows your body to lose weight more rapidly. Like there is a deep detail about this, which is like, because like there is some explanations that I can use to clarify this, and just to prove this, is that like when your muscle grows up. So first thing that we need to do is that our muscle is a tissue that burns the calories per day that we eat. Every calories, every amount of food that we eat, it is converted into the energy by the process of metabolism. So and what burns the calories is muscle, but it's not a muscle tissue, but as I said earlier, I said that muscle burns the calories because there is a cell called mitochondria, which is the cell that contains in your muscle tissues, and this cell has a duty to burn the calories that you eat every day, every hour, whenever you eat something. And then when your muscle grows up, or when you adequately stimulate your muscle growth, and then once the muscle grows up, the number of mitochondrial cells will be increased as well. It will, and then this will increase the effectiveness of the process of metabolism in your body. So that's why you have more and more muscle. You eat more and more, and there will be less and less possibility of getting fat than anyone who doesn't do lifting weights, but like doing only cardio.
So can I ask some questions, right? Okay, so to those who are beginner to start thinking that they are going to hit the gym, or try to familiarize with this kind of like hitting to the gym, do exercise, or try to manage their diet, things like that. What is the easy way to come up for beginners to like to make themselves be familiarized with this kind of situation?
I think the best way to make them familiarize with this kind of situation is that I will firstly start with how to find these knowledge first, because like when you start doing the diet, when you start learning about when you start learning about how to perform those each exercises correctly, because that's really important. Because like because I see lots of people, lots of beginners, when they are newbie, they always perform each exercises incorrectly, and then afterwards they will get injured instead, and that's really dangerous, because that's hinders the improvement of your muscle growth. So, and there are lots of long-term effects in the future. So I don't recommend people to randomly do anything without realizing about the consequences, or like learning it first. Firstly, I think that the best way for them, and this is the easiest way for them to learn how to lift the weights, or how to do it, how to get in a program of their diet. The best way is that they can search on Google or on YouTube, because like as this as this is a technology driven era, like like there are lots of technologies um it's the world of modernization. So um in order to get the information that we want is not that difficult. It's really convenient. You can search in Google and YouTube and then just find someone that is reliable, like such as the fitness influencer, or like someone who has a good body shape or body physique, or someone who is a real trainer and they are a YouTuber as well. Yeah, we can find these information from YouTube, and that's not a waste of money. You not need to pay for anything. You just and that's free on YouTube. Yeah, so that's the first thing that I really that I strongly recommend the beginners to start. And secondly, they need to take real actions when they learn how to perform each exercises correctly. They need to go to the gym and then just try to perform that exercises, try to imitate what other people do, and how to do that thing, like how to do this thing, because like it's not, because even though we watch something useful, like, or even though we gain some knowledge that is very useful for um for developing our life goals, or the goals of getting in a good body shape, but um if we don't take real actions, if we don't try, so that's worthless. Yeah.
Okay, good. So one more question is that I understood that so heading to the gym is kind of like you need to prove with a very long time to make it happen, or a successful person who can claim themselves that they are a trainer or have a good physique. Is that right? Is that true that we have to take time doing such things like that? All right. I said that okay, in order to successful as a trainer, or like do hitting to the gym, right? So some people say that it takes time, let's say like 3 to 5 years, in order to make sure that you can build your muscle or shape your body beautifully physique that you wish to do so. My question is that, is it required to take time to do that, or any kind of like shortcut or anything that you can suggest to those people who really want to hit in a shortened time?
I can say that, yeah, there's definitely a shortcut, but I can say only there's a shortcut of getting knowledge, but there is no shortcut of getting successful like in a short time, because like in in this body like in bodybuilding sport, as I said, like there is a shortcut, and there's something that you can get um to develop your physique, or to get the faster results by gaining the knowledge, because like this is 100% related to science. And what I think is that, this is my perspective, I think is that any athletes who have more knowledge is someone who um is, I think it's someone who will be more likely to be successful. But it depends on the real actions they take. It depends on the time, the energy they devote to that thing. Yeah, I think knowledge is the most important, because like because you might have a mindset of consistency. You might be consistent and persistent. You might be diligent. You might go to the gym every day and just try to lift as much as you can, and you never give up. You might have a strong mindset, but your knowledge is poor. So that's you might get a good result, but if you gain more knowledge, that's going to drive you to get a better result and faster. And also it's and in order to avoid injuries, knowledge it's a power. I think, yeah, it's a real power. And additionally, in bodybuilding sports, like there is no shortcut to be successful in a short period of time. I say it like that because naturally, even though you use the testosterone, which is the steroid, or you use some chemical substances to stimulate your muscle growth, but it doesn't make your muscle grow in just 2 or 3 months. It's too short. Like it takes around this is the criteria of the scientists. This is a regular criteria that it's really acceptable. Like if you train more than 4 years, that means you are the advanced level. If you want to reach the advanced level of trainees, you need to reach 4 years of training. You need to consistently train for 4 years, and also in these 4 years you should train hard and train to failure. Train until like your muscles have fatigue. Yeah, until you cannot like, I mean, yeah, you need to train so hard in 4 years. But if you want to be like huge, like the most successful bodybuilder, like I think that's your experiences should be more than like 10 or 20 years, because like it takes this sport takes time, and naturally human muscles cannot just like overactively grow up like in the cartoon, in the animation, like that.
Okay, good. Thank you so much for your sharing here. Yeah, favorite activity. I can see like you have a passionate feeling, and you have a strong passion with this kind of gym or fitness center. I wish and I hope that you will be able to do something, or let's say like a great contribution in the future. Yeah. So favorite active, I didn't have anything that which is can consider with my favorite activity, but I want to share that to me, I just like I can share some learning experience or new opportunities to study well, especially to those who are starting to study English here. I think that it is true that everyone have to accept that the English communication, or if you have a great command fluent in English communication, it might be a better place, or you can have like a further opportunities to seek for your own sake or your own expectation in the future. To me, as a learner of English, and also to those people who really want to start learning English, I can say that it is very important to start by doing, just because learning by doing is a key to success on everything. Even it is just a little a little things that you can start doing it day by day. But if you accumulate this kind of learning experience, and open up further opportunities to see that your skill in English might be better placed, I would say that it is very important to start by doing. To me, in terms of motivation, it can be decreasing from time to time just because what you need to happen or face in the realities might be different. Sometimes you might be demotivated learner, right, of English, or even sometimes you might be getting some inspiration from other or English teacher here. But to me, I think that consistency of like required doing something is a key to make it happen and achieve what you are going to reach it. So to me, for learning English, it doesn't mean that you can motivate by learning it, but what's more important is that you have to learn by doing it, exposed to the lots of English environment, and you can be a better person of English user here. That's it นะครับก็พูดไปนะฮะทำไม3 คนเข้ามานะฮะมีรามินกับรามิน2นะฮะ
อันนี้ผมลงมาข้างล่าง
โอเคพอได้นะก็แชร์กันเข้ามานะครับไม่ยากนะฮะแต่เราเก่งแล้วเราก็ต้องเรียนให้เก่งขึ้น all right moving to next question here question number 11 right share your opinion here research shows that the average American watches as much as 6 hours of television. So I can switch into, let's say, video games or Netflix or something on the internet instead of television here. Is okay each day. You have to change a bit just because we change it from time to time, so it doesn't serve for television at all. Yeah. So do you think this is too much or too less, right? Write an essay convincing reader to spend less time in front of the internet or video games or any kind of like they are supposed to to see and watch in daily. Yep.
This might be the one that we should that we can like I think we should tell them about the side effects or like some disadvantages that they can get if they watch television or they spend the time a lot with watching Netflix or playing video games a day, like for a long time. Firstly, it's all about their health. Like, absolutely, when they spend lots of time watching television or like playing games, when they spend lots of time to watch something, it affects their eyes' health. Like, and this is the common symptom that most of the people suffer is the eye strain. Like when they watch the television too much, they will feel drowsy, and then they will unconsciously sleep. So how does it affect the body? Like in some journals of health, like of people's health, there is a research about this, and it is said that in most of European countries, most of children spend the time with watching television or watching computers to play video games. This has the impacts on their health by getting obese, like something, or like their illnesses such as obesity or heart attack. Like this is very dangerous because like 6 to 7 hours, it's really long, and that's continuous time. That's continuous timing. When they when they continuously do this kind of activity, this will reduce their activeness. Like they will be more likely to be inactive in a day. And as I said earlier, that makes them to be easily drowsy. So that's why they want to feel like, and they want to feel energetic and active to do something else, like doing sports, going outside to socialize with other people, or doing something that is a relaxing activity, like for recreation. Yes, so we can, or also like we can promote like some exercises. We can promote something that is better than this kind of activity, because like for example during COVID-19 crisis, it is it is boring, and it is the excuses for people who are quarantined at home, because like they watch television all day and they have the excuses to not go to the gym, because like they will say that like there there is a higher possibility to get infected if they go outside, like, or like, when, and they and there is a high tendency to not go to the gym. But on the other hand, we can convince them in another way, by like saying that, by showing them or demonstrating how to do an exercise at home, not just going, even though you don't have to go to the gym, but you can find other activities that are enjoyable and good for your health as well. You can do it at home by using like a few equipments, just rubber band, or like, or in some videos, in some clubs, they just recommend trainees to train a full body workout, which um, which means that you don't need to use any equipment or gym equipment. You don't need to waste. You might need to buy anything. Just use your body weight to do an exercise, and you will be able to get healthier by paying nothing, like purchasing nothing.
Mhm. I see. Well, I think that it's it's true that lots of people may expose or watch lots of videos, or even the interactive videos through the variety of channels that we can see nowadays. For example, like on the internet screen, iPad or laptops, things like that. I can say that to those people who really watch this kind of movie or spend lots of time with this kind of like videos, I think it is kind of productive to me, just because during this time we cannot deny that everyone have to stay home, and this is the important or required activity to those people who just boring or feel like lazy. So they can, I would say that they can have better chance to, explore this kind of interactive videos through lots of social media, for example, like YouTube, Facebook, or TikTok. It is very interesting to make themselves feel fun, or like feel relaxed, prevent from stress out, right? Okay, so to me, with a number of hours they're exposed to this kind of thing, it's not that I mean like deteriorating from those kind of people, just because it's like that we have been watching this kind of thing during this day, just because we have to expose to this kind of video. To me, I would say that just selectively pick up just only like what you really want to make it fun, or just watch it for fun, would be great, and try to prevent from this kind of video that is not that related to make yourself become a productive person. For example, like you spend too much on this kind of like inappropriate videos, or just like that, right? And I would say that is very important to raise just pick what the alternative videos that you can play or just watch it for for yourself, and it might increase the ability to learn something new from this kind of videos. To me, I would say that it's fine. You can do it and keep doing. Watch lots of more. It would be great for you. That's all. นะครับก็ว่ากันไปนะฮะอยู่กินข้าวหรือยังอ่ะ
ยังเลยครับ
แสดงว่ากินข้าวหลังเรียนเหรอหลังต่อมาหลังหรือว่ากินก่อน
กินหลังเรียนครับ
กินดึกเหรอหลังเรียนคือ2 ทุ่มเลยนะ
ใช่ครับ
ดีกว่าใช่ไหม
ไม่มันไม่เกี่ยวกับเวลา มันอยู่ที่
ไม่เกี่ยวเวลาด้วยอ๋อจริงเหรออ๋ออยู่ที่สารอาหารว่างั้น
ที่ปริมาณที่เรากินรวมหมดทั้งวันนะ
อ๋อ got it ว้าว surprise ก็เลือกกินถูกไหมหรือว่ากินทุกอย่างก่อนตอนนี้
ก็มีเลือกกินครับ แต่ว่าไม่ได้ถ้ากินก็กินคลีนครับ แต่ว่าจะไม่คลีนครับแต่จะกินคลีนที่มัน
กิน clean นี่อะไรบ้าง can you you know take an example of a clean diet กิน clean นี่กินผักปะหรือว่าไม่ใช่ yeah
ถ้าคลีนนี่ก็จะเป็นคือหลายคนเข้าใจว่ากินคลีนจะต้องแบบเป็นไก่เปล่าๆ
Can you share some information from clean diet because I don't really understand. I understand that it's all about like veggie or vegetarian or something that is related to healthy concerns. Is that right? To prevent from some fat things like that. Is that right? Or anything that you want to share from clean diet here?
Like many people still misunderstand about clean diets. They always interpret that the meaning of clean diet is eating a food that is healthy, like such as chicken breast or vegetable or something that is really disgusting to eat because like that's not delicious or and they can do this clean diet for like a short period of time, then they will quit and they will return back to eat junk food as they ate before. But in my meaning, the real meaning of clean diet is that like there are lots and lots of interpretations of the clean diet's meaning, like and so we cannot say what is right and what is wrong, but this is my perspective. My perspective is that I think a clean diet it's related to the food that is good for your health and I mean it's good for your physical health and body shape, and also it should be good for your mental health as well, because like as I said earlier, like some people say that clean diet is some food that doesn't contain sugar or like trans fat or anything that's make you fat, but in my meaning it should be delicious as well, because that's good for your mental health, and that becomes the great diet ever you can do, because it makes you like, because that persists the consistency, like I mean it will make you to have more discipline and consistency, so you will have a higher possibility. You don't need to endure like or bear eating something that is not delicious for a long time, because like naturally we will automatically avoid something that we dislike, and that doesn't help you to eat a clean diet in the long term. Yeah.
I see.
Like for example, like the food that I eat is like chicken or like a pork with basil, and I can spice up with chili or like um onion. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's delicious, and that's not and that's not the unsweetened flavor. That's the flavor that I want, and I really enjoy eating every meal I eat, and additionally, it doesn't make me fatter because like the food is healthy. Also, it is healthy for mine, and also it makes me to have a healthy uh mental mentality as well. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep. Right, good. Okay, moving to next questions here. I'm going to ask you for more. Is that many junior high and high schools around the country, especially in Thailand, right now, require students to spend a certain number of hours each term doing volunteer work. As I mentioned yesterday, right, our community service, but we can change to a different perspective here. Some people believe that it is an excellent idea that promote good citizenship and cultivate compassion. Okay, compassion. The fields that force volunteerism is not volunteerism at all. So it's true. How do you feel about this issue? And use specific reason and example to support your position. My question is that, do you think it should be better to stop providing such volunteers activity here? Mhm.
Um, it it shouldn't be like what I want to say is that the main cause of the issues that people say that volunteerism is not volunteerism at all, or it is not if it is bad for them, like
Mhm.
the real cause of this issue is not like it is not about the volunteerism, but it is about the obligation of doing like the obligation for students to do volunteerism. In my opinion, it like it's unnecessary um to like abolish the policy of providing volunteerism activity uh to to students or to people, but instead we shouldn't make we should make it free. Like we should be more open-minded by making it um by not making it obligatory. It shouldn't be something that is like that obligates or that forces children or people to do it only, like because for example in Thailand there are lots there is a debate between teachers and Thai students, because like 99% of Thai students have a controversy between them and the teachers in the schools, that they all have the questions that why they need why they are needed to do volunteerism, because like during COVID-19 crisis they cannot go outside to do the volunteerism, so they are required um to volunteer themselves, to sacrifice themselves to, like I mean to sacrifice the time, to waste their time doing um cleaning the house, planting the trees, or helping their parents to do good things. But that's that can be the regular basis that they can put in their routine. But the real issue is that this is the obligation, this is not the volunteerism, because like volunteerism, the meaning of it is that it's related to the willingness of each people doing like taking moral like taking some actions that are good for other people. Like for example, if you are really a good person and if you want to help other people, no one it's no one like it doesn't necessitate obligation from anyone to force you to do that thing. You will be willing to do that thing. And so what I think is that it's unnecessary to eliminate volunteerism activity from schools, but just put it as a policy, just announce it as a policy, and someone who is willing to do it, yeah, you can participate. Or someone who is not interested in volunteerism, that's okay, and it just don't mess up with them or like obligating to do this kind of thing. Because like another example in Thailand, like for most of schools in Thailand, when they're forced to do volunteerism, like there's another issue is that like if they don't do this, if they don't volunteer themselves, if they don't volunteer, or if they don't follow if they don't obey what teachers order them to do, like, or the assignments, these assignments, they will get failed in the final examination or something, and they won't be able to graduate from the like, I mean, their GPA or their grade will be lower. So I think that's not righteous, and that's biased. That's such a prejudiced that's such a prejudiced thing we have ever seen. Yeah.
So นะประมาณนั้นจริงๆเราพูดไปแล้วนี่เมื่อวานใช่ไหมไม่รู้อะไรจะพูดแล้วเนี่ยสรุปคือตัดไม่ได้เหรอครับ
ก็คือไม่ใช่ตัดไม่ได้ครับ แต่ว่าผมมองว่ามันไม่จำเป็นก็ได้ครับ แต่ว่าสิ่งที่ไม่ควรเลยก็คือแบบเป็นสิ่งที่บังคับครับ เพราะว่าผมมองว่าการจิตอาสาเนี่ยความหมายของมันก็คือความเต็มใจที่จะทำดีครับมันไม่ใช่การบังคับครับ
ต้องเป็น willingness, right? But now it's all about like compulsory or obligation for a school curriculum, is that right?
ใช่ครับ
So it doesn't serve the requirement of volunteering works or any kind of things, community service here, right? Good. Yeah, skip ไปเลยแล้วกันเพราะไม่รู้จะพูดอะไรละนะครับ all right moving to next question ทันไหมเหมือนเรด้าพูดจะเยอะขึ้นนะฮะไม่เป็นไรเป็นเด็กต้องพูดเยอะๆ all right so moving to next question here most states allow people to get a driver's license at the age of 16 or 18. Some people feel that 16 is much too young for the responsibility that comes with driving a car, and that teenagers should not be allowed to drive until the age of 18. But in Thailand, it requires for above 18 actually. In your opinion, in what age should people be allowed to drive and why? Can you drive? Can you drive a car?
Yeah.
As you can drive a car, right? Actually, so do you have a driver license? I mean, like a car, right? It's not motorbike. So can you drive a car? Yes, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Can you share your perspective here?
There are lots of factors that they're all related to the allowance for people to get a driver's license. It's not only about the age, but it's because like the age, it's not the best indicator indicator for people to get a driver license. That's like, I mean, the base, it's not a base indicator that tell us that that person, the particular person is suitable for getting a driver's license, because like it depends on their ability to drive a car as well. Like, because like when we say that at the age of 16, we can, in some countries, some people whose age is around 16, whose age reaches 16 or more than that, they can get a driver license. There will be a debate from the international people that that it is inappropriate and it is unsuitable for them to get a driver license at this age. So like there are too many debates and controversies. But in my opinion, I think the age is also important to indicate how to determine when we will get a driver's license, because and how the age is related. I think the age is related to the situation of like to the allowance of receiving driver license, because like the age of each person will indicate their ability to think, just to think carefully when they start doing something. Like for example, between children and adults, like children, when they start doing something, they don't tend to think carefully when they do something. And then if we put them in the car alone without anyone monitoring them, or without anyone sitting in a car next to them, so their decision is not strong enough. Like when they like for example, when they are driving a car, and then when they see something that is exciting, they cannot control like the gear, or when they cannot control the movements or the maneuver of the car that much, because like this decision making is not fast and strong like adults. So that's why children are not allowed, like, or like people whose age is young and is not like adult enough, they cannot they cannot receive a driver's license. Another factor is about it's about the disability, because like เดี๋ยวอ่านคำถามก่อนครับ What age ใช่ไหมครับ for me I thinkไอ้อายุเท่าไหร่ดีครับ ผมก็นึก
เราทำบัตรแล้วยังอ่ะยังใช่ไหมหรือว่ามีละไม่ได้สิเพราะยังเด็กอยู่ใช่ปะ as you are 17 years old or 18 years old now
ปีนี้18ครับ
ปีนี้18 but it's not yet 18 right just 17 am I correct yeah all right so do you think okay during above 18 years old is that suitable for those kind of who have like driving license as a proof that they have fully responsibility for this kind of thing yeah
if we look at the age, it's there it is possible that they are suitable enough to drive a car, but at the 18 years old there's some ambiguous discussion or ambiguous explanation about this, because like it's not certain It's really not certain because why it's uncertain because like at the age of 18 years old, not everyone whose age is 18 years old have a strong decision making. Not everyone whose age is around 18 years old or above that has has a has a habit of driving a car carefully, because like someone, even though their age reaches 18 years old or when they are allowed to get a driver's license, but but um but what I mean, like, but their habit or um their personality, their habitual personality is, it's a like it's not a person who carefully does something, so that person is not suitable for getting the driver's license. But we can put the number 18 as a standard, like 18 years old as a standard of getting a driver's license, of like the allowance of getting a driver's license, because like it depends on people. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think so. All right. So, well, I think that it's not related to the age, but the age is required for some kind of like obligation or any kinds of law that can provide or legitimate to all of people who have a driver license here. To me, I'm going to say that the first thing that we have to consider in order to make sure that a driver could get permission to have a driver license here is all about like physical ability, that they can drive safely, or as well as a mental ability, consciousness, or even thinking skill that are not harmed with others. To me, I'm going to say that the desirable trait or personality, or even like required personality, right? Okay, desirable personality of those people who can get a driver license would be like physically fit to this kind of driving. They can be able to have like a clear vision. They don't have something that is related to visionary hair or even a hearing loss, hearing impaired, things like that. Just because when it comes to driving on the road, it is important to be safe instead of other, just because it's all about road and chair, things that we have to be responsible for. Another thing is that this is required a bit, just because I cannot say even the rules or regulation that can be, determined how one mental ability should be, seek for further, confirmation that one can get a driver license here. Just because sometimes, like when it comes to talk about lots of situation or any kinds of driving accidents or loss from the car accident here, it's all about like consciousness that one cannot look at themselves or even others. So this is kind of considerate personality or behavior, a good behavior that can understand consciousness. This is very important because it reflects mental ability and also the way that we have to prove it for a better. I would say that aging is kind of an obligation for those kind of people who, over 18, over 20, this kind of a proof that you are adult and you have the consciousness skills, right? Also, the way that you can think of others might be effective for some reasons here. But anyway, it's all about like you need to control yourself when you got when you are driving, or you have to realize that your responsibility is not just only safe for yourself, but you need to take care of others too. This is very important to add for a further clarification for rules and like regulation for a driver license here. That's it. Nè, ปวดหัวไหม move ครับผม alright ยาวจังไม่โจทย์ยาวจังลองดูนะ alright as a part of the war on drugs and the reaction to an increase in school violence, many schools across the nation now conduct targeted searches of students, lockers, and backpacks. Although the Supreme Court has ruled the public school officials have the right to search student persons and property when they have a reasonable cause to suspect weapons and drugs. Oh my God. Many people feel that a gross violation of the students' right to privacy. Others feel that since school officials are responsible for well-being of students while they are in the building, they have the right to search for the drugs or weapons at any time. How do you feel about this issue? State your position and explain your reasons with specific examples here. โอ้โหยากมากเลยอ่ะอันนี้ prepare อยู่ไปอเมริกาเลยนะ
If you ask me what I think about this issue, yeah, absolutely. This should be done. Like the process of searching for drugs or weapons at any time. Like, and that really, I strongly agree with the statement that says, if students are in the schools, so the officials are have a responsibility for the well-being of students, like such as fighting drugs and weapons for schools and student safety. Because like this is, I think this is the basically this is the fundamental method of safety, like, or preventing from dangers, because like there are many cases in the news that we can say when there are like some, or like in some cases there are fatal circumstances that happen in some schools, like in America. I cannot remember what is that news, but that's so popular, and it is this news. It's was widespread nationwide. It's about a school in America, and just once then 15 years old students brought a gun from his home to the school, and then he shot, and then he pulled out his gun from his backpack, and then he shot that gun to his friend's head. So if I don't falsely remember, I think there were 2 people who were dead, and then just 1 people who was injured, who was severely injured from getting shots from that pistol. Yeah, and then all of the students in the schools and all of the staff, so people, or all of the people who were in the buildings of the schools should have escaped from the position from the position this 15 years old students stayed. So they should have ran ran away from that place. So then afterwards, after that 15 years old student was arrested by police, and then after he was charged to be imprisoned for many years, because like he killed 2 people. He had he had a sentence of of imprisonment, like probably 10 years. I'm not sure, but that's the law of America. Even though you are teenagers, you can be imprisoned like adults. And afterwards, there was a regulation and a policy imposed by the schools. There was the system. There was a new system and new law. New rules for the schools implemented afterwards. That there was a strict regulation of checking and searching for bans, items such as weapons or knife or like something that can cause harm. Though like these items would be banned. Yeah, so every they were so and this strict regulation made every student's parents to be less concerned. So they were they were more satisfied, and they were how to say, like, and then they were more willing to leave their students to go to this school. Yeah. So yeah, I really agree. So they have a responsibility to search for these things.
ไม่รู้จะพูดยังไงอ่ะยากจังเลยนะฮะ well, I think war on drugs, right? And then it happens to high school students who have like a right to save their privacy, but in reality, it's kind of a contradictory, like appropriate behavior when it comes to talk about like a day passage, this kind of thing, or expect to be some people, some student who have a drug on their own or even weapons, this kind of thing that is unacceptable in terms of like accepting for the real world or real society. I'm going to say that when it comes to talking about the right of privacy of a student, that they're gonna have a right to passage this kind of things, but I think that is not appropriate, right? Let's say inappropriate behavior here would be banned or even restricted by, council or school, administration. Just because it is not really good for a student to have such a bad behavior during their school time or school life. I would say that to me, I disagree that explaining about the right and privacy to this kind of thing is quite outweighed from what they have possessed, just because if they got this kind of weapons or even drug, meaning that they're going to have like misconducted behavior that is hard to control for a certain time. I mean, like in the school setting, if those students who have like weapons, for example, like gun, shotgun, things like that, or even like drugs that they may behave inappropriately, I can say that it's not that good for a student's behavior, and it's affect to a family roots or even like friends or guardians, things like that. It's all about affect to each other. So meaning that we have to stop doing this or stop harming others with this kind of thing. And I would say that for students, they're going to focus is only for this kind of academic performance. Is that their responsibility to do that? And even I can understand that it may happen for some situation, for some social setting, especially in the Western countries. It's all about liberation or free, that you need to do whatever you can do. But in reality, it's kind of restrictive, I guess. And also, if it against the law or rule or even regulation, it is it can be considered as a harm behavior that we have to be restricted. To me, I'm going to say that drugs or war or any kind of things is not that good for this this kind of like student life, and it should be mainly responsible for those people who have the right to control this this student behavior. Yeah, that's all. ไม่รู้เหมือนกันนะครับปวดหัวมากเลยอ่ะปวดหัวไหม ไม่รู้เหมือนกันว่าปวดหัวหรือเปล่าวันนี้พอแค่นี้ก่อนนะเพราะพี่อาจจะแบบไม่ไหวละนะโอเคว่า Thank you so much for today class นะฮะโอเค see you พรุ่งนี้เรียนได้ใช่ไหมครับพรุ่งนี้พี่จะให้มันนั่งพรุ่งนี้ถ้าเกิดว่าเราเขียนเฉยได้ก็ลองเขียนมาก่อนก็ได้นะครับโอเคนะ Thank you so much for today class and see you tomorrow bye bye